For this, Villa was never a full-time student. All his life, all his degrees he did part-time. So when he was in South Africa, he applied to the LSE for a Lever Hume scholarship for part-time students, and he got it from Britain. So he was going to Britain knowing that he was going to go to the university, and also that he worked for an Indian firm who were shippers. And I think they shipped, even this rug I'm sitting on, they shipped rugs from woolens from South Africa, and they said to Vella, "We'll get you a job at a shipping company in London, and you'll go in for a job." So they gave Vella a job. It was in Moorgate. So Vella got a job in Moorgate, £2.50 a week. Not much to live on, and I needed a job. I needed to work as well. So then Yusuf Dadu, leader of the Transvaal Indian Congress, happened to be in London, and so we joined the India League, which was in John Adams Street. Have you heard of John? You know where John Adams Street is? Off the Strand. That's where the India League offices were. We joined the India League, and I told Yusuf I'm looking for a job. He said, "Why don't you apply to the High Commission?" White South African, I'm not going to get a job, you know. White South African, Nehru had already a boycott. Nehru was already boycotting Britain with sisal. They weren't selling sisal. Long before we even had the boycott committee going, the Indian government was boycotting. So I applied for the job and I got it. I got the job, so I was employed at India House. Little did I know that the MI5 was watching me then. I didn't know. I was unaware of that, absolutely. I don't know where they got the information from.
Why were they watching?
Well, the fact that in this article, they knew when I arrived, Vel and I arrived, they knew where I was working. I didn't know they were aware. Apparently they were, Gordon Walker was writing to the Nehru, warning him that, you know, Krishna Menon in London is employing fellow travellers and communists on his staff. I don't think Nehru took much notice, but there were demonstrations outside South Africa House by Indian students who were nationalists. They were anti-Nehru. Nehru was the new Prime Minister. And they were outside so Krishna Menon in fact trusted me, and for a while I worked in the external department, and then I was moved to the third floor, which was that's the High Commissioner's floor, and any secret messages and private documents, I was called in. Lots of the staff at India House were recruited. They were called India-based. Krishna Menon couldn't trust them. He really could not trust them. So any private documents, I was called in. So of course there was animosity against me too. They didn't like me as well. Who's this white South African working here? She goes and does all this private work and we don't. So there was a problem there as well. But I got through that. And Vella used to come and have lunch with me at India House because I was on the staff. We had the canteens were quite reasonable, so Vella could come and have lunch with me. He had paid for it, but we had reduced fees. And then he went to the LSE. So he went to work, came to me for lunch, and then in the evening went to the LSE, which is round the corner from Moorgate. So that's how he managed for 5 years. Evening student was 5 years. He did a degree.